Hello, welcome once again to Once Again, where we are looking at and reliving the episodes from the ABC series Once Upon a Time. We're now currently in season 2, and joining me today is, as always, Weaver's Grace. Welcome, Weaver's Grace, aka Tamara.
Hi.
Yay. And Bard, our friend from the Corona Diaries and others hanging around all the gang. She is with us again tonight because, of course, we are going to be talking about Hook. It is a night for hookers. So say it loud, say it proud. We are here to unashamedly love this man right here. No shame. There he is in all his glory. This is from the episode The Crocodile, where we first meet Captain Hook. This is the episode 4 of season 2. And it was a watershed on so many different levels because, for one thing, we had been anticipating Hook for a very long time from the moment that his casting was announced. And everyone went nuts because, first of all, oh my gosh, look at this man. And he was really cool because I was one of the first ones to make contact with him, and I was like, "Hey, welcome!" And he's like, "Oh, thanks." And I saved it because on Twitter. And then our friend, we were all like, "Get ready, it's coming!" And sure enough, like within a day, he had like 100,000 followers or something. It was insane. It's like, yeah, welcome to the fandom. It was so much fun, and there was so much anticipation because we knew that he was going to be the nemesis of Rumpelstiltskin. We had a lot of people that were the nemesi of our favorite Mr. Gold, our favorite golden man, but it really was highly anticipated. I would like to maybe give some initial thoughts. Bard, you for the first time, you said you did not see the Crocodile for the first time. That wasn't your introduction. Do I understand?
Well, no. You know, I did. I just had it backwards because I remember, well, there's always a whole bunch of flashbacks in episodes where they go back to the magical places. Mm-hmm. So I actually did see this episode, but yeah, I always conflate it because I didn't watch the next few. The next one I saw was the one with Emma meeting him.
Yeah. Okay, well, excellent. And before we go on, I was going to ask Weaver's Grace the same question, so get ready for it. I'm going to ask for you to shamelessly love on this episode because we are biased here at Miss Martin Muses. Is Courtney Christie is in the chat. She says, gonna love listening to this while cleaning. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello. Thank you. Yeah, we love you, Christy. And she is also a hooker, if I'm correct. Or if everyone may not be a complete hooker, but everyone was definitely a fan of Colin O'Donoghue.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Tamara, what were your first impressions of this episode?
When I saw the crocodile, I thought it was fascinating because we saw the background of what happened with Rumpel's wife because we had never seen her except she had been mentioned in Desperate Souls. And then we also had that introduction with Hook. And when they were dueling, it was really cool because it was like, he was going to kill Hook with his own sword and then Mila shows up. And so it was interesting. It was also sad because when you think about it, because of what the Dark One, because he was full on Dark One back then because he had just lost Bay. And, so just crushing Mila's heart was just like, whoa, So I was rooting for Rumpel, of course. That was the episode. Was that the episode where Belle was being out of character and
schizophrenic Belle? Yes. Belle was full on Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah. And then but then we also, since I'm a librarian, we also had that wonderful scene in the library. But I liked Hook at first, and I liked that you didn't know if he was going to be a good guy or a bad guy.
Yes.
Because I thought it was brilliant how they worked in the crocodile, with making it Rumple. But yeah, who couldn't like Colin O'Donoghue? I mean, it was like, whoa, hot man.
Yeah.
In
the charisma that he had when we first see Hook come on the scene, it's when he is in the tavern with Mila, Rumple's wife, and I mean, Rumple had not a single prayer against that man. His wife was unhappy. Rumple represented everything that Mila hated. She hated that he was a quote unquote coward. He was a cripple. She had a sniveling little son, and she could go and hang out in a pub with that gorgeous specimen of humanity. But she was very cruel to him when he showed up in the pub, because he shows up and he's like, come on, come home. And you even see the little kid. And at first they were making fun, even Hook was. They were just laughing.
Oh, he's a tad taller than you described him or something.
Exactly. But even Hook had the nerve to be ashamed when the little boy shows up. And it was like, yeah. And for a while, we weren't entirely sure that they were even in love, so much as Hook, as he told Rumple, I've had many a man's wife, but also Mila, we did understand why, of course, she would want to run away, because Hook represented everything that she didn't have, and so she could be running off on the high seas with a hot pirate.
Well, and Hook even applied to Rumple that, on that scene on the docks where he humiliates him, he even implied that he was going to pass her around the crew.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So, but
I feel like he was all bragging on that one, though. Like, the way he likes her seems to suggest he was all for show on that one, though.
Oh yeah, he was just trying to mess with Rumple, but of course Rumple didn't know that. He felt like she was kidnapped. Yeah. Oh, he was definitely playing with him.
He was peacocking, or whatever you call it.
Exactly. Playing the macho man, and gosh, and the way he was like, if you want her, we'll fight for her. And of course, he couldn't really fight for her, because he was hobbling on, when like, and I think that this is also important for Rumpelstiltskin's development, because we're starting to see where he gets this severe inferiority complex, and why, when he does get the power that he does, he wields it like with such delight and almost cruelty, especially with Hook. See, this expression on Hook, I love it, because this is the moment that he realizes later that he is dealing with the quote-unquote dark one. He doesn't know that it was Rumpelstiltskin, but he sees this old man and he starts picking on him, and then he realizes he was picking on the dark one, and the look on Hook's face has an, oh crap, I'm dead. And that Rumple relished that power, that he was able to make this man who made him so humiliated, that he was able to humiliate him back. And then they had a sword fight.
I know, that was so cool.
It was so awesome. And it was so old-fashioned. That's, I think, also what made this fun. It was almost like watching an old Errol Flynn movie. And of course, Rumple won, because he's the dark one. But it was only Mila coming back that made realize that. So I thought there was a great character development for both of them, and then it shows the beginning of their animosity, which goes up to the next level when Rumple is confronting Mila, and she's like, I never loved you, and he was like, how could you I can understand you leaving me, but how could you leave our son? And then she's all, I love you, Hook, and Rumple kills her. That solidified that Hook and him were going to be enemies forever. Very good characteristics writing. And then, ends later when we see that Rumple was the one that cut off his hand, just like the crocodile does. And at the end, he's like, to Neverland, and he's going to live forever if that's what it takes to get revenge on Rumpelstiltskin.
If he gets to look like that forever, I'm okay.
None of us were arguing. These are my season 2 pictures. Yeah, there's lots of. Oh, this is a later picture. This is.
Oh yeah, that was
later.
Beating Hook to.
Yeah, they had a lot of scenes where they just didn't get along. Look.
The one where Hook shoots Belle and he like tries to
yeah,
kill him in the car.
And he goes and starts to strangle him, and she's like, "No, don't do it." And he's like, "He has to die." Yeah, so. It was probably one of the great introductions of a character up to that moment, in my humble opinion. And the ratings were through the roof on this one. I think it was the highest rating episode of entire season 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, they really hyped it up to the point where my roommate got me to watch it. So
yeah. And I have feelings about Hook, about the way he was later, but I don't have anything bad to say about what they did with him in season 2. He was a magnificent villain and different than Rumpelstiltskin and different than Regina.
I don't know what it was. I'm sure it's kind of season fatigue if you think about it, but like the earlier seasons also felt like they put more like passion into the fantasy aspects of it, like in the magical realms or whatever. Like the stuff with Hook, like you really get into it, like when they're out like doing the beanstalk stuff, and like the late episode is like it's so fun,
Oh yeah, it was a blast.
Tallahassee was the name of that episode.
Yes, Tallahassee.
So that was the one where we met Neil too.
Yeah, that was also an incredibly strong episode. We might get to discussing that today. I don't know. We still have a few to get through from season 2. And usually we talk about 2 or 3, but I don't know if we're going to get there because this one is such a seminal episode. And, let's just leave this here for us to look at.
Admire.
For us to admire. But those weren't the only great scenes from this episode, because it also was an incredibly strong episode for both Rumpelstiltskin, Belle, and Charming. Actually.
And Ruby.
Ruby. Yeah, she had some great moments. Oh my gosh. When Charming and when Rumpelstiltskin, Mr. Gold, lost Belle because she turned into what Dr. Belle and Miss Hyde. That's what I called her in season 2. That she went off, running off like a big baby because, oh my gosh, she said, why don't you tell me your deepest, darkest secret? And he goes, and didn't answer right away. So she threw a hissy fit and jumped out the window. And Rumpelstiltskin was rightly incredibly frightened for her. And he went to our Charming.
Yes,
and there were some really great Charming Gold scenes.
Our Golden Charm, yeah.
Golden Charm, was that what it is? I forget what it was.
That's why Charming's in running for the name for my next cat.
Oh, that is a great name
for
a cat. Yeah.
Yes, and I might have found him too, but that's another story. But I don't know where Rumple is. He must be asleep somewhere. That's my cat, by the way.
Yeah, well, I think Rumpelstiltskin is a great name for a cat because cats are evil. I love my kitty cats. But,
they're mischievous. Oh, yes. You never know what they're going to do.
Yeah. But there was a great moment where at first Charming's like, nope. When they open up the door, he opens the door for help because Charming's like, you tormented all these people. No, thank you. But he's like, I need your help. Remember, there was that girl. And he's like, wait a second. Is this the one that you were talking about? And he just goes, yes. It's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get into details. And that Charming kind of became the bro to him. It's like, okay, for her, I'll come and we'll try to find this woman. And Charming was even like, I thought she was dead. He's like, well, she wasn't. But
poor Rumple did think she was dead.
well, yeah, he did. But it's just pretty funny. But also, it also shows how deep down Charming is pretty awesome as well, because he obviously had feelings about who Rumpelstiltskin was, who Mr. Gold was, but he knew that there was this girl, and there was, again, this underlying bro thing going on, where it's like, okay, let's find him. And then as they're trying to find Belle, and he just goes, is there anyone you haven't tormented? Because no one wants to help him. And then Rumple kind of starts to ask for some advice, and Charming's like, are you asking me for dating advice? And Gold goes, of course not. and then Charming's like, well, okay, let me give you some advice. And talks about its honesty. And I think that was the theme that they were trying to get across with Belle, but they went about it very clumsily, is that she wanted him to open up to her, and that if they were going to have a decent relationship, that they did have to be honest with each other. And he needed to tell her about Balefire. And Tamara, correct me if I'm wrong, did they ever tell us why Rumple was reluctant to tell Belle? Or was it he just hadn't gotten around to it? What was the reason why?
Started, well, in Skin Deep, there was that little bit of a scene where he said, I lost him. And there was that flashback in Going Home where it was Belle's birthday and Belle walked in. So there was some indication she knew about his son. But I think what it was is he wouldn't tell Belle why he needed magic. And that's why she got ticked off at him. Because she said he didn't need magic. He needed to let her in.
Oh,
and, yeah. I don't think he got around. He was going to tell her about Balefire, but then I think everything happened, where she left, and then the kiss,
that she didn't give him a chance. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why it was, Mr. Hyde or Miss Hyde that she was like that. And then, of course, she didn't realize that there was a reason why Rumple did not want her anywhere near her father. And it wasn't because he was being a big jerk. It was because Rumple still, at that time, he thought that her father had indeed kidnapped her and tortured her. And so he had made it seem like Belle was still dead. And that was another reason why Rumple did not want to Belle roaming around and everywhere, because of that. And she didn't understand that until her dad did try to kidnap her and did try to hurt her. It was terrible what he
was
did.
A jerk.
Yeah.
That was a jerk. I'm still upset that he was giving Belle away in that wedding scene. I'm like,
yeah, that all happened off screen. They forgot.
Yeah.
They forgot a lot of things. By the way, just for your viewing pleasure here, this is
I saw the charm attack.
Yeah, the charm attack here for everybody. This was Charming in a very gratuitous. He had to be wearing this shirt while he was coal mining or mining for magic dust.
He's armed and dangerous.
Yes, he's definitely armed. Yeah. And great moments with Belle and Ruby. That was when Belle and Ruby became friends. Because when they were at the diner, and then the whole myth of Belle being addicted to iced tea began. So there were a lot of really, really great character moments. If they just hadn't stumbled over Belle being a jackass. That's what.
Well, it was always Ultimatum Belle.
Ultimatum Belle. That was. Oh gosh, I forgot. That was her other nickname. Was Ultimatum Belle. All of a sudden, she's just giving ultimatums, and everyone knows that ultimatums never go well in relationships. But
nice.
Yeah.
So if they made an action figure for her, it would say Ultimatum Belle, and then someone would be like, "I think you misspelled ultimate," and they're like, "No."
Yeah. Because all she did was give him more permission. Yeah. Well, and it was also annoying because she was then acting like she was wanting to get away from Rumple. And the last time we had seen them together in the season 2 premiere, that's exactly what he was saying. He was saying, go away, go far away. I'm a bad person. She's like, no, I have to stay. And then she's all of a sudden going down and giving him even more ultimatums. And then probably the biggest, dumbest line that Belle ever said almost in the entire series was her dad, after kidnapping her, trying to erase her memory and destroy her life. In the same breath, she goes, you tried to erase me and tried to destroy me and kidnap me. And Rumple, you just were too much of a coward to share your feelings. So both of you, I want you out of my life. And I remember weighing it and going, wait a second, one is not like the other. And then she takes off in a huff. And we were so mad. And before
Genevieve!
Yeah, I was going to say, before we get mad, it's Genevieve. Yay!
An Apollo Patriot.
Yes. And of course, Genevieve was one of our friends of Once Upon a Fan. She did a lot of beautiful edits. And of course, the very brilliant and beautiful and amazing Robert Carlyle. She got to meet him several times. He would always come over and say hi to her. And we all got to see her pictures. Yeah, when she would visit. And she also got to meet a lot of the stars there. Adam, I know, did. And they were always so awesome. And she has the beautiful, beautiful swan pictures that she would make. And she would make these beautiful edits that we would share on our Twitter.
And I loved your video you sent last week, Genevieve. That was amazing.
Oh, yes. It makes beautiful videos about the Curated Art, right? Yeah. Okay. And Apollo Patriot, always great to see you. And apparently everything Christy's saying is going through a censor. What is she saying? Can you
She says hi. Well, so that's the thing. She's not showing up in the StreamYards, and everything she's saying is asking me to show it or hide it.
Oh, and well, so, that's weird.
She says hi, and she also says hi, Apollo, if you didn't see her. Oh, no, you did see her. I don't know why she's not showing up.
Yeah, okay, because if you do show it, it allows her to show up, right? Because of course, you're allowing her. I mean, Christy, if you are listening, you are not denied. And goodness knows, this stupid chat. Ballard, she says, thank you. Of course, we love you, Genevieve. Great memories we all had in all this time. And before we go on with a little bit, this was... I'm sorry, I just started laughing. Apollo Patriot goes, Christy was talking about Walmart and Broforce. Yeah, apparently that's too much for YouTube. I don't have any special kind of censors on here. She got canceled. Yeah, that's what Bard's saying. Yeah, Christy, I don't know what's going on. I am really sorry about this.
Yeah. I'm ignorant and don't even know what Broforce is. So
Broforce probably is referring to maybe Charming and Mr. Gold. You know, the bros.
Okay.
Yeah, but in any case, this was also a great moment in at least the Once Upon a Fan history, because this was our first time that staff members met. Me and Maury, I happened to be going to Florida, and she was near there, and we decided we were going to meet up at Disney World. And so our first meeting was for the Crocodile. And I remember it like it was yesterday, because we didn't know each other we knew each other from online. But I just go and kind of knock on the door, and it's like, okay, am I about ready to be sold into, some adult kind of trafficking or something? You just never know. It's like, you always wonder when you meet people in real life. And there she was. And the first thing we did was we watched the Crocodile together, and then of course went to Disney World, and we have been best friends almost ever since. That was several years ago. And
I still got my postcard that you sent me of Belle from Disney like several years later.
Oh yes, because then we went back again. Yes, we did. Yeah, and many of us, most of us actually are still very, very close friends from that experience. But that was where a friendship was born. And we were so enamored, Bard, with Hook that we went and bought a whole bunch of those little hooks at the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And I gave one to my, gave them out to kids. It's like, yeah, Hook, we love Hook. And she sent one to Colin O'Donoghue, and he signed it, and she still has it. So that was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
And he signed that for her. Yeah, we got a lot of cool little stories like that. And of course, I don't have anything bad to say about Colin O'Donoghue. Such a gracious actor, and people can fake it, and we know that actors perhaps can, but when you see them over so many amounts of time, and when you meet them, and they're the same and so gracious, and I'm really talking about with our friend, some of our shenanigans we got up to with Tom and Colin O'Donoghue, the two of them, because they look alike and they switched each other's clothes and all that kind of stuff and play. I mean, he was so awesome with in Paris. So it was loads and loads of fun. I need to bring out some of those pictures. Some of them, of course, we don't share, but there were some that were permitted to make public, especially the ones that happened on the stage that were really cool with him. So yeah, we got we have nothing but love here for Colin O'Donoghue and many of the other actors. Of course, Robert Carlyle, who was nothing but amazing with all of us. And it's still on our YouTube channel, where our staff member Laura had made dolls. Like, all the actors wanted dolls made by her, and she would get them to her, and he wrote her a video message thanking her. And we watched it over and over again for about 5 days, and even every now and then it's just like amazing. So okay, that's enough of my gushing over the actors from here. But I really don't know what's going on with Christy. And Emoticon got moderated. This is ridiculous, because my settings are that this is all for grown-ups. So it shouldn't be doing this. So Christy, I love you, and I hope we'll see you one day with one of your comments.
And don't worry, I'm keeping track of her. If she posts, I will make sure it goes through.
Yeah.
And somebody named Bone joined us. Hi, Bone.
Hello. We love everyone coming in and going through memory lane with us. Okay, circle back around a little bit. There's looking at the crocodile. Oh, there's one more part about the crocodile episode that we have to talk about, which was in many ways the climax of the story, when after Belle has her hissy fit, and then she turns back into Dr. Belle and kind of normal, and she had talked to Ruby about, I do like books, because she was thinking, what am I going to do with my life now? And Ruby's like, somebody came and dropped off a key. And of course, Belle's dumber than a rock too, apparently. She lost her brain cells when she was locked up. Of course, we all knew it was Rumpelstiltskin. And Tamara, yeah, Tamara, do you have? Yeah, I'm sure. I think you probably have that quote memorized.
Which one, about the libraries?
Yeah, he just showed.
We may sit in our libraries, yet be in all corners of the world. Basically, That's pretty close. I can't say it as nice as Robert Carlyle did, but. Yeah.
Robert Carlyle could read the phone book and do that. Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a very famous quote. And that also shows that he truly does love her, because at first she's like, if you think this is going to make you win me back, and he's like, no, it's not. He's just like, I know that, you love books and all this crap. So he bought her the town library, and it mirrored that episode, that moment in
Lacey
cartoon. Oh, not just Lacey. Oh yeah, Lacey. I'm thinking even further back to the cartoon.
Oh, the cartoon, yeah.
That the Beast gives Belle a library, and then he finally opens up to her and says, "This is why," and talks about his son.
And he talks about magic being his crutch, so he knows he has an addiction.
Yes, and he's like, "You're right." You were right about everything. And then once again, he finds it within himself to let her go. Because he knows, especially the way he is right now, that he is not good for her. So he tells her goodbye, but it's her that says, well, wait a second.
My hamburger.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a hamburger?
Have you ever heard of hamburgers? Let's talk about hamburgers. And then, of course, the next month, all we were doing was waiting for their hamburger date. And this is reason 10, 100,000, and 20 million thousand and 3 that it didn't make any sense later, the way Belle was with Rumpel and the way Rumpel was with her. It just wasn't. It'd been really established that he had always been honest with her, and she was schizophrenically honest with him when she wanted to be. But that was a great moment for both of them, and it was a moment for her to move forward because, of course, her getting the library was also a sign of Belle's independence. Mm-hmm. And I'm very biased here. I am very biased toward Belle. Of course, Belle, I think, is a great character. And when they got it right in Once Upon a Time,
yes,
they got it right.
Yeah, they got it right in Skin Deep. And there you go. You're close to it. He told her about and that was what happened in season 4, was that I think Robert Carlyle was led to believe that Rumpel was going to be dealing with this addiction to magic, and that could have been a very interesting conflict instead of this. Suddenly Belle is clueless, and he lies to Belle left and right, and of course then we had Hook blackmailing Rumpel, which was not one of the smartest things Hook ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Begging my pardon, but that was just, I'm like, Hook, you're smarter than that. And it's like, Hook made a good dark one, though.
Oh, yes, he was amazing.
He made a better dark one than Emma. Emma was just like, they built all that up, and then it was like, oh, this was it?
Well, they built it up with the poor actress. She was led to believe that it was going to be more. She spent the whole summer at the New York Library and reading up on things like that. And here's, of course, one of my favorite lines, one of the Captain Obvious moments of Belle. I do love books. So I thought that was great. I didn't realize I was still sharing, so I'm sure you're all just probably going through all of my Pinterest things because I have a thing just here for her. And of course, whenever Rumpel has that puppy dog look,
it's that Ruby Rumpel and Crocodile. That's where I think we first saw Ruby Rumpel. Or maybe it was Desperate Souls, but yeah.
Yeah, we love that, and Belle had some great moments here. Look, come on, Belle, for crying out loud! I'm trying to share these things, but they're being weird with us. All right, I have all these pins of Belle. There she is.
Well, Belle's awesome.
Yeah, and they got her right finally in season 3. Oh, there we are. This is her face. Great acting by Emily DeRaven. This is her face when he's finally telling her about his son. And she's like, oh, I feel like a jerk now. And of course, Robert Carlyle just kicks it out of the park.
I always did.
I gotta say, I haven't really been on here, but I know you've invited me, but I mean, like, just a thought you guys have probably talked about before is like one of the things that did interest me with the show is because, like, everybody's got like a slightly different past, but it's kind of like a twist on their characters. Mm-hmm. I was always really attracted to the triple combination, I guess you would call it, for Rumpelstiltskin, because you've got him as Rumpelstiltskin, then you have him as the Crocodile, and then you have him as the Beast, technically, for like all of his roles, and then you technically can throw the dark one in there and have a field day with it. But I mean, like, it's kind of weird that they didn't need 3 people to fit those spots. They just had him.
Mm-hmm. We joked for a while that he was going to turn out to be Santa Claus.
Well, he was Cinderella's fairy godmother.
Oh yeah, he was. Oh yeah, he was.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the Price of Gold. He was the fairy godmother.
Yeah.
He was.
There was a number of things he had to roll in. It was
Yeah,
oh
yeah, but the main ones, yeah, the Beast, the Crocodile,
yeah,
and
the crocodile, the fairy godfather or whatever, and then
Godmother, Father.
godmother. Yeah.
Well, and Rumpelstiltskin, where we did see him finally play the Rumpelstiltskin role in The Miller's Daughter with the spinning gold. Gosh, that's a great episode, which we're going to spend probably a whole episode talking about that whole trilogy that's also in season 2. Gosh, season 2, the quality of the episodes, oh my gosh, were so
That's
good.
what I say. The first three,
First
two and the first 3 seasons were the best.
Yeah.
And Rebecca Mader was great as Zelena when she was at Wicked. It's like everybody had to be like suddenly whitewashed.
Yeah. Well, they made a mistake with her. You figured that eventually they were going to have people stop raping each other, and maybe that would help, because they had them do these unforgivable things and weren't foresighted enough to say maybe we might change our mind about it. But oh well. So that's the Crocodile. But lucky for all of us, that's not the end of Hook. The next episode in season 5 was another great episode. I'm sorry, season 2, Season 2, episode 5, which was the Regina-centric episode about Frankenstein, because it was a Halloween episode. It was so good.
The doctor. Was that the doctor?
Yes, it was the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's seeing Dr. Hopper because she's keeping her promise that she was going to become a better person, and even to the point where she wasn't wanting to use magic. She was again that theme of addiction. She was going cold turkey. She was 12-stepping on us, but suddenly her boyfriend goes missing, her body, and we didn't realize that Daniel's body was hanging out in the cemetery, right? Isn't that where Daniel
was in her crypt or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, in her crypt, yeah. So they had been experimenting because, of course, Dr. Frankenstein was none other than Dr. Whale, and suddenly he was kind of The Walking Dead on us. And the conclusion of that episode ended up with Regina getting to say goodbye to Daniel. And only the most heartless of human beings didn't just die bawling when at first Daniel is going to be killing Henry because he's all Frankenstein. But she finally reaches through and he's like, Regina, and they hug, and she's like, I love you. She finally got to tell him everything. I still love you. You're everything to me. And he said, so let me go. And she's like, but I love you. And he said, then love again. And then she has to let him go and say goodbye to him for good. It was like she got a second chance to talk to her love and say goodbye to him. Pretty amazing episode. And little do we know that was going to bear fruit, the whole love again in the next season with none other than Robin. Yeah. So that was an amazing episode. Great scenes also with Charming and Henry. They had some great episodes where he was teaching him some responsibility, where he's like, yeah, you're going to have a horse, kid, but guess what that means? You're going to have to clean out the hay. You're going to have to do all the chores, all of that stuff.
Genevieve had an interesting quote there.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what would have happened if Regina split her heart into Daniel.
Nice.
Ooh.
Interesting.
As we all pause.
It's like, I'm sure there's a fanfic or two. But no, that's a good question. I just wanted to say that the episode works, and like honestly anything that's like super emotional, because like the actress who plays her is like really good.
Mm-hmm.
And like she does so many different roles well. Like, you know, she does the really pissy queen, and then she does like the socially awkward, like one of the mom that's like she's trying to be, and then she's like, I don't know, it's really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was probably one of Regina's best episodes in the first part of season 2. But also, when we know how this meant to you, Bard, not that. I had it all. Okay, well, yes, this meant a lot to you too, I'm sure. I had it all ready to go. Oh,
I like
gosh.
to imagine that was my house's door, and he was like trying to get in, you know?
Okay, let's try this one. Wait, is it the same one?
You just want to have your charm attack. That's what it is.
I know.
It's a subtle charm attack.
Little do we know, Teresa has 100 tabs open, and they're all that one picture.
Now, you're not entirely completely wrong in that there was a true story. Me and someone who shall remain unnamed were sharing charming pictures back and forth, and we accidentally, you know how sometimes when you're doing private messages and you send them to the wrong account, and finally my friend says, "Why are you sending me 100 pictures of Josh Dallas?" And I was like, "Oh, oops."
Yeah, I have a bad thing of texting Deary to people, and I thought I was texting my best friend, and I was texting someone else, and he's like, "I wondered what that was. I figured that had to be somebody else you met."
Well, as long as it's not, that your parish priest or something, that's when it gets really awkward. Okay, there you go.
It was.
Oopsie, that's how rumors get started. But
I know. I didn't want to.
Okay, we're getting away from Beauty and the Priest, and let's go to, here you go, Bard. I know that this was the one that you just loved, when Hook and Emma met.
Indeed. It was a great episode. I love how they kind of, introduce him, and it's like, oh, I'm a lowly little guy who got tied here, and I don't know, he does a great job of playing, and she does a great job of being annoyed. So
yeah, Emma was good at being badass.
Yeah, and the chemistry that they had, it was there. I really felt that their chemistry was very palpable.
Oh yeah, you luck out with actors, like when you just like you get a scene with them, and it's like they're chewing the scenery,
Yeah. And let's all admit it, we all had a lot of funny things to say about the fact that we had Hook tied to a tree, Hook tied up. Everyone was like, "Yes, please."
Yeah, right. Don't untie him. Maybe, well, no, take the robes off a little bit. He's pretty stuffed up there.
Yeah, we need some breathing.
Hey, didn't they all end up tied to trees in the one Camelot episode too? Or Hook got knocked out a lot too. Emma was always clonking him, knocking him out a couple times.
Yeah, remember the hashtag Captain Floor? He kept getting knocked out, especially in season 2. Yeah, it's called Captain Floor because that was when everyone was starting to ship things, and it was like, let's ship Captain Floor. It's like, I love you, Floor. My one true love. But yeah, they definitely had a love-hate relationship, and she was kind of suspicious of him, but he did a good job of playing the oh my gosh, everyone was killed, and then they find out, of course, that he was playing them. But it was just a great a great Captain Swan, and once again continuing a lot of the fun I think that we were having with season 3, because it truly was a blast. I mean, look at this. Here we go. We got Snow. We got Hook. Yeah, they eventually untied him from the tree, and then they went to just tying up his hands, and then they were pulling him along. Yeah, he had
To be fair, I wouldn't want to leave him behind either.
no, not at all.
Can I keep him?
Yeah, Mom, come on. I promise I'll feed him. I'll water him. I'll walk him every day. Yeah, a little bit of shameless. Oopsie. I didn't mean to do that. Hope we're still alive. Oh, good, we are. So, I guess the other part of it, the big reveal, it wasn't really till the end of the episode that we realized that it was a Frankenstein story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he came in with his arm, and Rumple made him say he needed magic, and he said, pleasure doing business with you, Victor.
Yes, that was it. And then the whole he's alive, and we called it the world. It was called The World Without Color. It was a joke because it was all black and white, like an old black and white movie. That was very clever.
Yeah. Isn't that the guy who was in like Heroes? Or
he was a guy who was in everything. He's definitely a character actor you'll see everywhere. He was in Heroes. He was in this. He was in the Vampire Diaries. He was also in that one with Tinkerbell about the zombie.
Yeah, iZombie or something. Is that it? I don't do zombies.
Yeah, that show was just kind of silly. There was another once actor for Tinkerbell. Yeah, and the
Rose McIver.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm trying to remember his name. The guy that played Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh gosh, I used to know all their names. Whatever his name
Anders. Was it Anders?
Anders, yes. Mm-hmm. And there was old Faith versus Science.
Yeah, David Anders.
And that was part of the thing that it reminded me when Rumple was like, I'll give you your arm back, but you have to say it. It was almost like, okay, we're in third grade out on the playground. You have to say the secret. You have to say the secret password. And he knew it just about killed him to say, I need magic. So that was a fun episode. And that was the end of the Halloween episodes, wasn't it? Oh, they did one in season 7.
They did the one in season 7 that actually was Beauty. But
that's an amazing
movie. He was in your Heroes show. I didn't watch Heroes, but he was in Heroes. He played somebody named Adam.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Character that, because, they all have powers and stuff, but he came from feudal Japan and he was immortal and basically he just lived forever. But he was awesome because like he played a character who at first was like a drunk and he was like stumbling around, and like the characters realized that he was supposed to be like a legendary character back in the day. And I'm sure, I don't even know if that would be welcome nowadays, because like in the history books it was supposed to be like a samurai, and then they find out that he was like masquerading as him for the whole thing. And he turns into a bad guy, so that's always fun.
Yeah, he definitely ends up playing a very similar kind of characters, doesn't he?
Oh, he was in Vampire Diaries, right?
Yes, he was in Vampire Diaries. He was the uncle who was the father. Gosh,
didn't he lose a finger or two?
Yes, he got his finger shot off. I shouldn't laugh. But, I just recalled that we did not have a Halloween episode in season 1 because the show actually premiered very quickly.
On October 23rd, yeah.
Yes. But it was fun because they would do it. They did a Valentine's day one, which was Skin Deep, and then they did this Halloween one. And then they did the season 7 Halloween one. I thought those were loads of fun. I wish they'd have kept it up, but oh well. I think that sometimes it became harder for them to time them when the schedules got split into 2. But it was a lot of fun having the holiday themed episode, and this was a great one because come on, it's Frankenstein, and he got to deliver he's alive and try to do it without it sounding like the other one. Mm-hmm. Whatever his name was in the original movie version.
It's Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, Frankenstein. Putting on the Ritz. Yeah, that was a different one. That was a different one.
And then there was Rumple von Stiltskin.
Oh, God.
And he had his red on in that World Without Color. He just looked so hot in that red outfit he had on.
Yeah, and he taunting him. Gosh, he was also kind of the Forrest Gump, wasn't he? He was always like there in the middle of everything. By design, I think that he did because we learned that he really saw the future. We're going to see that in the episode Manhattan. We suspected he could see the future in earlier stuff, but it wasn't really spelled out. So good times as always. Our hour is up for talking once again. Next time around, I think we can get through the end of up to episode 9 probably, which is the Queen of Hearts, where they finally get Emma and Snow back. It seems like it took forever. Well, we weren't wrong. It did take forever. It took the first half of the season for them to get from the Enchanted Forest back to Henry and everybody. But it was good fun.
Well, and they end the episode with Smee. So that was important.
Yeah. Yeah, because Rumple had Smee.
You're right. And that was... Oh, he blackmailed him, right? Didn't he? Or...
He had him tied up in his basement.
That's it. So
yeah,
right.
Because he was going to use him to try his memory potion on.
You're right. He was guinea pigging him.
Yeah, all these people all these people would be in jail forever with all the crimes they did.
I know. Kidnapping is a federal crime, for crying out loud. They all kidnapped at least one time. I forgot.
Belle got kidnapped numerous times.
Oh yeah, that became an ongoing joke. But you're right. I forgot that that's how it ended. And man, he was down in that basement for a long time.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to know where his captain was, and then wasn't that where Cora was, or Hook was looking? They said that's where your crocodile is, and that's where my daughter is, or something.
Oh yeah. At
the end of that episode, they were looking for a storybook, and Hook's. He said he could finally skin himself a crocodile.
Yeah, I know. I think that particular line was
I
that before or after? Oh, I don't. But you're right. That then you realize that that's their goal. Is that's why Hook was hooked to Cora, because he wanted to hitchhike under her magic so that he could get to Rumpelstiltskin. Mm-hmm. So you're right. And the way he delivered that line too, and I'm gonna skin myself a crocodile. Yeah, we love ourselves some Hook. Alrighty, well, we're gonna go ahead and end. Well, first of all, Christy, I am so sorry that YouTube was censoring you. I have no idea what was going on, and it's just so odd because usually if there's a problem with a comment, it'll show up, and then I'll be able to go, okay, and show it. But we weren't seeing that.
Yeah, it was weird. But, we'll keep an eye out next time, right?
Christy, you were cursed. Remember that was the line from Charming and Snow? We were cursed!
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us, or thank you, everybody, for joining us. And it was nice to meet you, Barb.
It was nice to meet you too.
Yep. Yeah. Always good to see you all. Yeah. And thank you, Apollo Patriot. Thank you, Bone. Thank you. Let's see. Who else? Genevieve, of course, Genevieve. And we saw people popping in and out. So thank you for all of you that came in and listened in as we reminisced. And as always, have a fantastic evening, and be certain if you are going to steal somebody's wife, make certain it's not going to be the future dark one.